Now, you know, I got to hit you with the OC.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Well, the 17-year anniversary of the premiere of the OC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm just gonna give this verbatim, all right, what we got down here. The show's considered the most iconic millennial teen drama, and people are now able to watch it again thanks to Amazon and HBO Max. So just hearing that right there, knowing it's been the 17-year anniversary, and part of it, what still resonates with people today, do you think, that when they watch it, it's like, it still makes sense?
I think it's just, you know, it's that good old fashioned story for the rich girl and the boy from the wrong side of the tracks, and like all that original drama that now all of these other shows, like, I mean, there's always, way back to like 90210 or whatever, there's obviously like kind of like a common theme in a lot of these things. Yeah. But, you know, it was the first iconic beach thing. It really wasn't, because people talk about Laguna Beach and the hills and they get these things confused now a little bit. And so it's funny because it is back on TV, and I've noticed, because I have like really young, like, you know, 19, 20-year-old kids coming up to me, so apparently they're home watching it during quarantine. And yeah, it's like, I guess it wasn't a reality show. It very much was a soap, a drama, right. Real, like, and so it was the one of its kind, and it was that whole Southern California glorifying that idea of moving to the West Coast and what that is and what that means to everybody's surf culture and all of that. So yeah, I get it. It's the California dream.
Does it still, when people ask about it, like myself, because I'm sure you hear it all the time, these questions, but is it still to this day, when you look back at it, what you did on that, was it hard to handle the fame that was going on? Obviously, when you're younger and things like that are happening, and now even still, people who weren't, you know, they were too young to see it then, now they're watching it now. It's...
Sure. I mean, yeah, I was talking a little bit about this just earlier today. I mean, I think, yeah, it's definitely, I think it was handled, but I think there was a lot of backlash at the time afterwards, because this is pre social media. This is pre being able to defend yourself or share your side of the story. It was definitely a time where the paparazzi drove the narrative of like your life and what was going on. And there was a lot of things that were misquoted and said and misperceived, which was frustrating. So in that sense, like, you know, people were like, how are you handling quarantine and being just like completely locked down? I'm like, you know, there was a while in my life when I was so agoraphobic and couldn't go outside and couldn't like deal with that kind of like public scrutiny, that for me, like, this is kind of like a dream life in a way. Like, I'm fine taking like a good few months break. It's getting a little too much now, but I'm fine taking a break and stepping back out of public scrutiny always, and you know, kind of redirecting my attention to back to what really matters.
Absolutely, and getting time for yourself too, and not having to listen to anything.
Yeah, else. That's what I've been using this for.
Yeah, I think it still would be a little crazy too with just having Instagram during those days as well. That probably would change the whole game.
I'm sure it would have made it a completely different scenario in terms of what was really going on our set and everything. I mean, I look at the shows now and what they have to put up with, but it's nice, like, social media gives you a voice as well. Mm-hmm. So like things like this film, like, totally look into that. It's like, how good is it until it's not?
Right. If you use it for the right way, then it can be
right, which is what I like to do. Use it and then back away and not look at it for a really long time.
Smart. Do you still keep in contact with any from the cast? And when's the last time Mischa has actually watched an episode?
Oh, wow. Mischa hasn't watched an episode in a really, if ever. But when's the last time? I mean, no, I've had my friends try to put it on and stuff around me, especially during quarantine, because, like, I don't know why, but it's just come back around. But what was your other question? I got distracted by the fact I don't watch my show very much.
Do you keep in contact with anyone from the cast still?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, Adam, I think I see him around the most. I haven't really run into Rachel in a while. And I spoke to Ben's wife about something not long ago, but I haven't seen him either. Like, everybody's just busy. Peter Gallagher I see around. Yeah. Yeah.
But everyone's got their lives. Everyone's busy.
I know. And especially now, you don't see anyone.
This is true. Congratulations on Spree.
Thank you.
Great cast. It's so fun the way it's done, like in real time. And we're shooting with
Right. It's very modern. It's definitely very, very interesting. What will people do for likes these days? What will they do to go viral? And what that whole conversation is and means. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
And obviously, we love a good thriller, especially when we're home right now. We need to take our minds off of things. This is doing just that. Do you look at ride sharing services a little bit different now?
Oh yeah. I've always thought that there's a certain amount of like, they always made me a little bit nervous. And then that whole thing came out about that was happening. I mean, some people got in the wrong Ubers and bad things happened. And so it's based on, a common fear I think most of us have anyway. And that's why we always triple check the name when you get in, and the license plate and the type of the car and everything. But no, yeah, it's based on like everybody's kind of common fear that something would go awry in the middle of the night, or that, these three are all messed up and drunk, a night out partying, and that's the end of them. But yeah, it's a funny little script. Joe Keery's awesome. I love Joe. He's such a sweet guy to work with. Frankie was great. And yeah, I got to meet Lala on this one. And what was funny about that was I was in the middle of doing The Hills. And so it was like kind of a welcome quick break from doing the reality TV back to like regular film. And I was like, so we got to like sit around and gossip and talk reality.
I was gonna say you can bond over that part too, and like, hey, what happened to you and what happened to you? Talk thirsty culture for me. I know you mentioned it, saying you'll see what anyone will do for likes, but break it down, thirsty culture, what that is and how we'll see that represented on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, so this one, it's very much a kid who's sick in the head, and he's like, he really, really wants to get, to go viral and to be famous, which is like, we see a lot of that anyway these days, but this is in thriller form. So this isn't just your average TikTok user. He's, doing, well, I guess you should watch the film. I'm not going to tell you exactly what he's up to, but yeah, it's just kind of breaking down that crazy internet world and the way that it's really affected everybody so much. And especially, I think, even now with quarantine, all anybody does is sit at home on their phones, like obsessing over things like TikTok and how to go viral. And I mean, I would be lying if I say I didn't get a kick out of some of it, but this is the not so good side of that. Put into horror film version.
I was going to say, what are some red flags to avoid when you're like in this thirsty culture, like or trying to be a part of it? How do you?
Who knows? Everything. avoid everything at all costs.
There's like deep fake now. There's everything. There's like, what am I wearing?
I'm probably not the person to even ask, to be honest. It's funny because I get dragged into it all the time, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things you should avoid out there on the internet, pretty much.
Good pointer. To avoid a lot. Avoid most of it. The cast is great. You just mentioned Lala. I said I talked to Frankie. How cool is it? First of all, the scene with him. It's the way you're shooting it is different too, right? We're using phones and we're using
yeah, it was so weird. I've never done anything like that. So it was like, because it's all in the car, so it was actually kind of tough to film, but like also really easy at the same time. You forget that the camera's even there. It's nothing like on a traditional thing where there's like a tracking dolly shot and it takes like 10 minutes or however, whatever it is. This was very much like the cameras are running, they're on in the car, it's already been preset, but it's still like, I mean, we did traditional takes and everything, but because we were kind of hooning around at night, like driving around through the city. Oh, I miss those days.
Remember those?
Yeah, barely. I just remembered and I was like, oh yeah, now I do. Yeah, it was fun and it was different. It was definitely different to like your average sort of filming, but yeah.
It probably cuts down some of the time. Like you said, you're not having to reset equipment the entire time or do things. Would you prefer this way of shooting, or do you like the other? What was your
Well, I like doing this. I thought this was really fun and interesting, but you're talking to somebody who's never going to get over the good idea of a good old fashioned take. And, I grew up in the days where we still checked the gates. So I'm like, that makes me like a dinosaur. So I'm like, you're talking to somebody who loves a good take and like a really like set up, like, but this was like fun and different and refreshing. And it was different from doing reality TV again, because everybody's like, well, this is reality-ish. It's like based on that culture, but it wasn't that. And so that was really fun for me.
No, I think people are going to like it. It moves, it goes, and it's literally current. There's going to be so many people, and we're all home. It's like real time when we're on our phones filming ourselves. You're seeing it as you go. So I think everyone's going to get into it for sure.